said, maybe it's a bit shocking for some, but he said, don't be a Christian, be a Christ. And I truly believe in it because when I see Christ and when I read his teachings, I see the embodiment of unconditional love, unconditional compassion, unconditional understanding, unconditional forgiveness. And when I think about these things, I start thinking right away whether it's possible that this is focusing on Christian meditation to get that Christ spirit, which is all the things that I just mentioned, the embodiment of unconditional love and compassion. So my question is, if there is, not just to you but to everyone, if there is a multicultural group, and you said we can encourage them to have their own word, I think we can still marry the two together, because perhaps they won't embody Christ, people in a Catholic way, if there's a Buddhist or if there's a Hindu or Buddhist, whatever. But still, we can still embody the values in the same way that maybe a Christian can embody values by other spiritual teachers, which takes them to the part of connecting with that spirit, with that inner spirit, which is always there. So whatever you are, it's there.
Sorry. Is everybody, and that God's spirit is in everyone, and at that level, the level of meditation, there is no distinction.
Yes, exactly.
No distinction. We meditated with the Dalai Lama. The Dalai Lama.
I'm jealous.
See? So,
one of the missions of the World Community for Christian Meditation is interfaith. And in fact, on Saturday I'm going to India with the World Community for Christian Meditation, and we're continuing this interfaith dialogue with Sikhs, Muslims, Hindus and Buddhists. That we're going to be meditating in the Himalayas in a Buddhist monastery. But we take Christ with us.
Okay.
And the Dalai Lama always says, you stay with the faith you've been brought up with. He's not trying to convert anyone, doesn't mean to. I mean, you know, as long as our faith is strong and we find that this meditation strengthens our faith. Absolutely.
Yes.
But we want to make sure that we leave you with some contact with us. Sorry, you may not have finished.
No, I was just going to say thank you everyone, because this is the comment that I wanted to make. So if there is someone who is not, we can do Maranatha. So I love mantras, and it's a beautiful mantra for me. But I think it's important that yes, we can embody Christ and Christian meditation, but it's also an integrative way, because if we take meditation on its own or mindfulness, because I teach mindfulness levels and also on the way to teach to kids, and it's about teaching them something, but then if they have their own faith or whatever, to connect with that, because that is the root that will make them bloom and get the fruit into their lives, into their spiritual lives. So thank you.
In fact, Father Lawrence often tells the story of when he was in Australia, where this is a very Christian meditation is a very big thing. He was once talking to a group, and he mentioned that it was back to apostolic times, when Jesus said to go into our inner room. And afterwards, one of the Aboriginal in the community came up and said to him, yes, we agree with this, but our people have been doing this for 40,000 years. Get the dimension of God's world.
Yes.
People felt the need of silence and solitude to meet whatever they believe in. To us, it's Christ. To others, it's something else. At that level, at the basic level, silence and solitude and simplicity, we all God's Spirit. God's Spirit is in all. So if there are children in your classroom of a different faith, like Muslims and people like that, they can always participate. Because you're not saying anything. You're just in silence, meeting with your own Creator.
And trusting in the Holy Spirit, which really we don't often do, really seriously.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Attenta.
What I found useful, I used to do this with much younger children, 5-year-olds and 6-year-olds. It wasn't actual meditation because it wasn't perfect silence, but we used to guide them and they used to remain quiet. A classroom of 26 children, 5-year-olds, and they all stay quiet. And we start with a story, a reading from the Bible usually, and then we guide them, give them guiding questions for them to stay silent for such a long time. But they were really reflecting, because then after that we got them to draw what they imagined. And at such a young age, it's difficult to leave them on their own, I think. But then, through practice, they will get to it. So you have to start at a very young age, and then you build up on it. But I don't think that from the very young you can.
They do it.
They do it.
From kindergarten.
But you have to lead them just a bit, from my experience.
You can start with 1 minute of meditation.
Yes.
In that context that you're describing, you just tell them to stay quiet for a minute or 2 minutes and introduce a sacred word.
We just did a small exercise during that to prepare the Advent calendar, where 5 minutes after break, more or less, so the school had to stop and pray in this way. But there were certain teachers then who took it a bit deeper. Obviously, the fact that it was every day for a particular period. Joanne, when you come.
I'm a support teacher in the senior to me, that is 7-8-year-olds. And since it was part of a project, they took it seriously. And yes, there were a couple of students who were interested at all, but they were more doing it for attention purposes. Their behavior was like challenging the teacher, it's a new thing, but it's expected. But then in the long run, they ended up doing the meditation themselves. And we used the word as well, mantra, we had this seminar, and they were so calm, and they actually asked for it. Even the teacher was distracted and was talking into them to prepare lessons. They were actually asking, Miss, what about the meditation? They wanted it, they needed it. It got into their system. It's a
Did you continue then?
No. Some classes managed, but some classes took it as an Advent project, sort of. But
did you continue with it?
It's true, and since I was a support teacher, it's I understand what she was saying. It's the head has to know about it, and the teachers, and then the support, because as a support teacher, you can't just take over. You know what I mean? You can, but in collaboration, you have to have the support.
But somebody has to start.
Yes, it's true.
I think Jane here is willing to start a group for teachers at St. Aloysius in the autumn.
But it's managed and it was beautiful.
Can you comment on this also? Because sometimes we just do it once or twice and we don't see that everyone is there, and we say, okay, it does not work. Or we are more this a short-term project. But this is something that it's like our food. We don't say we eat now and then we eat next year. Or it's something that we have. It's like breathing. It's like breathing. It's we don't breathe now and then we breathe 10 minutes in 10 minutes. So we breathe continuously. Therefore, maybe let's also explore also the possibility, and I think it's possible, but we just need to believe in it more, to make it more regular. It's better to have something regular, short but regular. It's like having that snack every 3 hours, small but regular, which unfortunately I don't do. But it's better to do that than sort of, okay, Lent, Advent, but then the rest of the is almost sort of, sometimes it's godless. So it's something continuous. So marriage.
Jiena li kont naħseb li wara tiġi se għandna fil-PSD l-iskola tagħna nagħmluha bħala relaxation ta' qabel eżamijiet pereżempju, għandu topic fil-PSD li jkun jsir ftit snin issa, però ma jkunx fuq Christian meditation. Però naqbel ħafna ma' kollega tiegħi wkoll li qalet aħna jien nemmen ħafna li this is a little bit too complicated, difficult for children. Illi mingħajr il-guidance, forsi it is a little bit too much. Then you said maybe it's 2 minutes would work. Maybe that would work. I don't know. Yes, maybe. I believe that breathing exercises help a lot.
Breathing helps a lot. Sorry. Usually you can breathe with the Maranatha, you can breathe in and out, or Mara, in, Nara, out. Breathing, but if you emphasize it with children, it's too much.
For children, I found different breathing exercises, like the bunny breath, for example, which is breathing 2 in and 2 out. And there are different types. And I think it works more than just sitting. With me, I didn't know how to let them just stay still without giving them something to work on in their mind.
Well, but you give them the prayer
Breathing?
word. The prayer word.
The words.
And you write it up on the board. And I don't think children, even small children, find it difficult to find the word difficult. I mean, our 3-year-old grandson knows all the names of all the dinosaurs. I mean, I can't pronounce half of them. I mean, children don't find it difficult. It has to be repeated, though, and maybe allowed to start with.
And I wanted to ask about movement as well.
No.
Would you suggest that movement is used like yoga for kids?
Well,
how
yoga
does
is a
it
very
work?
good preparation for meditation, but during the meditation, it's important to be absolutely still. The body should be absolutely still. I mean, some people who are younger than us actually meditate in the lotus position if they've had training in yoga. And many people do it on the floor or in a prayer stool. I don't think they're so popular in Malta, but you lean back on a prayer stool, that's very good too. And sitting upright in a chair is just convenience, it's not the only way. But the important thing is the back must be straight. The spine must be straight, without any movement, not even if you feel itches to scratch. If that's discipline, of course.
The kids can go on cushions on the floor.
Sorry?
The kids can go on cushions on the floor, or on chairs. But there might be a special room for this kind of thing. Or, as I'm going to say, the whole school stops at a certain point. Or each individual class, teacher decides what time to learn herself. There, you have to do it just according to the circumstances.
I just think maybe short videos that one showed us would help us introduce it to the school.
Yes.
Because as I was watching, I was saying, you might have to show this to my 7-year-old. In just a few minutes, they will not only understand what it's all about, but also the rules that it's stealing in other schools. And even while I was watching, I was like being motivated to start as well. So we could pass on maybe some.
Yes. Well, I think that's what we want to give you is you have to write it down yourself. I mean the website of the World Community.
There's a lot of information on the website.
And Jane, would you like to tell us about the website?
On the website, the World Community Meditation website, if you go in and you go to introduction, and then if you go into introduction, you get introduction to for primary school children, and you get introduction to the method of how you're going to introduce meditation, and it's also linked to the psychological development of the child. So they actually go into such detail, so they'll tell you exactly if you're what a class of 5-year-olds, how the brain is actually working at that age. And so one of the things that they suggest is something like you had just said, because they cannot take maybe the word up to begin with, you start by telling them a story, a parable from the Bible, and then you ask them to imagine it. And so they go into silence and they imagine the story. But then from that, what, if you read on the silence, and read, that's all, as they get older, you will move from that form of introduction to actual meditation using a mantra. But I think it's very important in all of this that we don't mix up, I have to say it because I feel strongly about it, mindfulness and Christian meditation. Because there is a big difference between mindfulness and Christian meditation. And the two are not at all the same. Our Christian meditation is Christ-centered and finding the Spirit within us, like the speakers have said. Now, I mean, for me, we have to be careful working in schools that we don't take the wrong path.
Could I just summarize that? If you go on the website, wccm.org, as I said, we have four meditation meetings. My own email address is yhchibaras@gmail.com. And yes.
Sorry for the interruption, but if I might add something on what this lady has just said, what worries me is this, not so much the meditation factor, because meditation is something which is inbuilt in us. Man was created to meditate effectively. But what worries me is, like that lady did say, mixing up meditation with other forms of mantras, mentioning yoga. The problem here is that we're trying to project a Christian type of meditation. How viable is it to introduce it in a state school, which is promoting ethics? It's all well and good, for me to go into a class dressed like this. It's already going to put people off. On the other hand, why should I go about, dressed like the man next door? I'm a representative of something here, and this is the worrisome factor. In private schools, in church-run schools, it's more or less pretty easy. But I frequent a school in the south of Malta which isn't so easy, and that's why they actually send this old person with a bit of experience, supposedly. But this is it. How do you project a Christian image in a state school?
Well, you have to be a Christian yourself. And secondly, who said that Christianity is easy? Christianity is never easy. Whether it's an adult or it's a child. So, and remember, Jesus said, if they hurt me, if they persecute me, they won't persecute you as well. So, difficulties are going to arise. If we try to project Christianity to others, we're going to have it on our head then. We're going to be criticized. So, we have to be prepared to be criticized. Are we afraid of that? If the Lord did us, we shouldn't be. The Holy Spirit will be us, we shouldn't be afraid. Because one of the fruits of the Spirit is fortitude. Why?
question is this to everyone, perhaps even to myself, but sometimes I ask myself, what is the personally my goal, my calling is for the well-being of adults and children. And if, for example, a state school perhaps is not, would not perhaps be interested in Christian education, perhaps, why should it stop any one of us here to introduce meditation on its own? You can still use the beautiful mantra and continue on from there. Why should, I mean, it's important, most of us are here to focus on the Christian aspect, which is very, very important. But why should we keep back the benefits of meditation in itself for kids in certain schools or in certain institutions which perhaps would not be able to have that from a Christian perspective, for example, through meditation on song or mindfulness, because I am aware of what Jane was saying, I completely understand that. But what is the final goal? Isn't it the well-being of children and children are connecting with their spirit? So it's from through this, so through that. And they are
sports, for example.
Yes, they use it in sports, scientifically proven meditation. So why should we keep that back? You know, they are learning more about their emotional world. There's
You're convinced of it.
Sorry.
You have to convince others, I suppose. You're convinced about it.
Yeah.
So you have to convince others, like other teachers, the head teacher, or
Yes.
you know, you can start. But start.
Just clarification on this. I think it's not we are all looking for the well-being of the person. With regards to the different, because spirituality is not something up there in the air, it's concrete. It can be sort of, there's Christian, it's different. There's a difference between Christian meditation and Buddhist spirituality. Christian spirituality, Buddhist spirituality, Hindu spirituality. There are differences because we perceive the human being differently. Although we are all seeing the human person in front of us, or we are human beings, but we perceive ourselves differently through our different faiths. If one does not believe in God, perceives oneself differently from a person who believes in a loving God. So that's why, and that's the difference between different types of meditation. And we are promoting the Christ-centered meditation because our faith is about transforming in Christ, transforming in being love itself, love incarnate, living and doing actions in our daily life. I'm sure that there are also other comments and other maybe questions, but I'm also aware about time, maybe also a need for a break, and also to explore the different practices, although there are not many, but there are different practices where we can explore and where we can also understand and ask ourselves, can I apply this to our school, to our community? Maybe as a closure for this part, for this session, maybe we can also explore the possibility of forming a group for the teachers and other educators in this practice of meditation.